Hey, good morning. Boreta, Suprabhat, and Mayong Bungtak. Welcome to That's Life with Evolution. I am your host, Evolution, and I have a very, very special guest today. I am here with Rusty Diamond. What's up, Rusty? How you doing?
Dobre Utra. Uh, Throw that in. I remember that from about 20 years ago. I'm doing pretty well. It's good to be here. I really like the intro. That was some cool music there. I like it. I appreciate a good beat. So
Oh man, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, it was nicely put together, so I'm happy about that. So Rusty, for the people who don't know who you are, the people that are viewing now, and the people that might come in later, let them know who you are and what you do.
which is everyone probably. So I'm a guy. I got a podcast. I have a number of podcasts, but main podcast is the Public Access Podcast. Been doing that since 2013. Come a long way from holding an iPhone out in the middle of a room and just hoping for the best,
Mm-hmm.
or being in. I think the first one I recorded, I was in this room that used to be um, it was a room that got converted for a kid that had polio
Mm.
so he could go and see outside. And that was where I recorded my first one, right off of what used to be called Asylum Avenue. And then they changed it because they thought that it was a bad idea to name a road Asylum Avenue. And so they named it after the guy who ran the asylum, Hawthorne Boulevard in Portland, Oregon. But
All
yeah,
right.
so I did comedy. I make some music. Music I can use loosely
Hmm.
as a term. There's a lot of sounds that I can make come out into the world, and then let's see. I was a pro wrestler. I still do hang out a little bit in that scene, but um, mostly about done. I stepped in a hole doing another job that wasn't wrestling, and that ended everything. And then I ended up taking that and then becoming a hypnotist because I needed a new job. So became a hypnotist. So if I sound like I'm monotone and boring, there is a reason for that.
Oh
And
man.
you'll like it.
All right. So far so good, man. No boring things happening here. Um,
And cross my fingers.
so on That's Life, what we do is we come up with topics, and you might be sitting on the left or the right in how you view things. And what we do is we present some information to try to help you either open your thought process on that subject or not a little bit, or meet somebody in the middle so they can help you out in life or just whatever. Our goal here is to bring different perspectives to different things so it can help people out a little bit, right?
Right.
So before I get into our sponsors, what we do, we have a thing we call Leia's question that gets us going on our subject. And today's subject is what makes people so jealous. Uh, hmm. and so we're going to get into Leia's question today, and then we'll get it going.
Cool.
All right. So again, the subject for the day is what makes people so jealous, and I'm here with Rusty Diamond. And Leia's question is, why not just be happy for the people instead of being jealous? Hmm. Well, let me open up the comments here and see what's going on.
Uh,
Yanit is on the airways. Hey, Yanit, thank you for tuning in. And we appreciate you. Good morning. Matter of fact, we appreciate everybody who watches the show either now live or later recorded. Uh, and while I'm saying that, let me get into our sponsors. JG's Lounge, Golden Diamond Productions, TGBTG. of course, layers question, and then Vive, VYV, it comes in a little vial. You shake it and sniff it and get your thought process activated, and hopefully it'll make you come up with something brilliant. So now that we got that out the way, Rusty, just off the topic, what makes people so jealous? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Oh man. Okay. So first off, I want to go back to the fact that the whole idea of this, of being able to come up with people that have different opinions, and not just an echo chamber. Like you don't learn anything from an echo chamber. It's great when you get a bunch of people who are, quote unquote like-minded, but you're not going to learn anything, and then that shuts down discussion, and there's a lot of gray areas.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
um, and so what I think about that, well, I mean, the first one that comes to mind, is some sort of relationship is usually the first thing. And that's kind of the low hanging fruit there of that one. But I mean, it's a hard one. It's a hard one, and it's gonna be a way of life. And I don't know what would make it where it wouldn't become a way of life. It's always gonna be there for some reason.
Hmm.
You can find ways to not have to be jealous, but I think jealousy is sort of a human nature, and it's one thing to act on it and one thing to not act on it. And I think that's the takeaway from it, is like you can act on it or you cannot act on it. And I don't know. No need to be a hater.
Hey man, there it is. Interesting perspective so far. I think that's going to take us right down the road we need to go. So basically, usually, if you have been doing good in life, success, rich, famous, things of that nature, typically you have people out there for some reason, instead of focusing on their self, they're looking at images like that, and they become, I guess, in a way, inspired by material things, that those people are portraying on screen, at events in life, whatever. So they want to either become like that, or they become to think that they want those things that these people have. Um, what are your thoughts on that?
Or there's also the, why does this person have that and I don't? What did they do? Why is it them? Oh, they probably whatever blank blank blanked. When there's no reason for that. I mean, that's gonna literally, if that's what you're aspiring to be, that's gonna put you no closer to where you should be. Just
Mhm.
going over that again in your head. I mean, that's not gonna help you learn anything. That's not gonna help you, even whatever quote unquote focus your energy or whatever you want to call that onto
Mhm.
what you should be doing. But I mean, I don't know. And then what is it? If you probably don't know the person, and
Mhm.
so you don't know if their material stuff that they have is all that great, or if that's making them happy.
Mhm.
Who knows? Who knows? I don't.
In fact, they might not be happy, because when you're that super successful, life is different. You know what I mean? You're not living your life to be you. You're living your life as an image to please everybody else. So it's a different perspective that they have to be driven to live their life. They have obligations way beyond what the average person has. They have to be in different cities, different countries, all the time, promoting uh, what their brand is. So their total dedication, whether they want to be that dedicated or not, once it gets rolling, in order to keep that success or those riches, they have to, you know, go that extra distance to make those things happen. And that's what a lot of people fail to realize. For instance, you said you were into pro wrestling. Um, I do things like music. So for me to look at you and be like, wow, I really like how he does things. He does this wrestling. I wonder how he got there. I wonder, why come I'm not there. But it's different. I'm dealing in music. I have to focus on what gets me going in music versus what's gotten you to where you are. What are your thoughts, man?
Well, let me tell you about music, because as far as if you, let's say you're doing a show of some sort, you're out doing a live performance,
Hmm.
and you tell someone that you are going to you have a wrestling show tonight and you're wrestling. You are going to a comedy show and you're going to be doing comedy, or you're going to a live music show and you're going to be performing some music. I 100 times out of 100 times would want to be doing the music, and I think that you also have the best chance of bringing people to a show if you're doing live music,
Hmm.
as opposed to kind of any other one of those. And I also think that the live music group of people has less, I'd say there's less jealousy in that one, and it seems that a lot of um, people I've seen have been more supportive in that scene than the other two, as far as when someone gets some success, that it's like, oh, hey, hell yeah, man, good job, like let's keep that going, like what.
I think because of that, the angle that you went with that is probably because musicians are original. They have their own original talent, and that's usually what musicians focus on. This is my, I'm a rock star. This is what I do. I do rock. Or somebody might be a jazz singer. This is what I do. I do jazz, and they both appreciate that because they love music, and the jazz singer is not trying to do rock. And the rock performer is not trying to do jazz, but it's interesting because they can collab together. You
Right.
know,
Yeah.
so that's very interesting that you brought that up, and I'm glad you did because that was an angle that I wasn't trying to go, but I'm glad you did because it makes a strong point. When you focus on your strengths and what your things that you love to do, then that's when things happen for you, right?
Right. And yeah, I mean, you can try to do everything yourself if you really want to, but I mean, I was talking to a friend a couple weeks ago on the podcast about this,
Hmm.
and just how important it is to collaborate, and that it can only help you, and it's stuff that you wouldn't have been able to come up with on your own.
Hmm.
Um, and I mean, you don't have to, like, if you're like a single person doing whatever art it is you're doing, as opposed to like being like a 2, 3, 4, 5 person group of what you're doing all the time. But if you're just a single person and you're collaborating, or even like a two people doing music and collaborating with someone else, I mean, it's cool. Or if there's some other art, like if people want to do live art during a musical performance, like
Hmm.
that's cool too. Or if people want to go and make your merch, someone wants to go and make your merch, they can make a lot better any kind of art than I could ever make. I mean, now there's ways around it. I can get some pretty cool six-fingered pictures of stuff if I really want, but I don't have someone coming up, and I'd rather get a hold of my graphic designer guy and let him make me some cool ideas of stuff and collaborate that way.
Absolutely, man. That's great. I like that. So basically, uh, identifying and understanding and appreciating the differences is worth doing, as far as building yourself up and getting to where you need to go. Even though you respect the other people for their success, when you strive on your own and focus on what you're doing, then you don't have any room for jealousy. You know what I mean? You have room for appreciation of the grind and the hustle that everybody else puts in to make their success, because you're also doing it. It takes the focus off of that inner deal going on. You got something?
No, I was agreeing, which I don't know if it's the best thing to do on the show is to agree with you, but I agree with you on that part.
Hey, you
So,
know, it's always good to agree. Agreement is great. And if you disagree, that's also welcome as well, because
Right.
you know that's the thing about this show. That's life. You know,
Yeah,
sometimes you agree, sometimes you disagree, right?
that's right.
So the next thing I want to point out is you have something that someone else wants. And I'm speaking in terms of a person, which could be a spouse, a place, which could be a house, or a thing, which could be like a car or something other than that. What you got for that?
Um, I mean, it's again, you know, however they want to get to that. They also don't know that maybe like, so, oh man, I don't know. I mean, you ever work sales jobs? You ever do sales jobs?
Yeah, and I've realized real quickly that I'm not a salesman, but
Yeah.
but yes, I can agree with that. Go ahead.
You ever have one of those jobs where you have the or usually those don't last as jobs. It's usually like a, you know, a quick thing. You have some
Mhm.
asshole. I'm sorry.
You're
Some
good.
some person who is comes down like, hey, here's the keys to my cool car, man. Like my whatever BMW or Mercedes or some other whatever car, and you can get this if you're like me. And but you don't know, maybe this guy is going and is way in debt because he's paying for this stupid car that he's doing to keep up an image. And so
Hmm.
much of that also is back to the perspective of whomever is out there. Like you don't know if they're like, if that's their whole thing, or if they have some deal with BMW but
Right.
can never at the same time be able to express something that BMW is saying, hey, if you talk about this, we can't give you that. You can't drive around in your car anymore. Like, we're going to take that back. Or
Right. Right.
um I you know everyone has their stuff. And again, yeah, it can be easy to be like, oh man, I really want that. But then, like, also, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to
Hmm.
do about it for what they're doing? It's not going to, like, do you wish that they didn't have that, or do you wish that you would also like to have that,
Hmm.
but in your own way? Or maybe, but then also you can go, hey, how did you get that? If you can ask someone. And I
Hmm.
think that's a thing I don't think people want to talk about to
Hmm.
that person. With the, if there's jealousy about it, like, maybe they're going to think less of them or something. But um yeah, just being able to get to that part of just like, ask them like, and what does it mean to you? Why do you have this? Like, and you can do it without sounding like a jerk too. No, like, why are you spending $90,000 on a car when you could
Hmm.
invest it into some my startup company,
Right.
or
Right.
whatever else. What
Man, those
Yeah.
are great points, man, and I'm there with you on all of that, because those are really three good perspectives that you brought that people might be approaching that with. And you know, I'm like that too. You know, why would you spend this amount on this instead of spending some here, here, there, and there. But everybody has their wants.
Right.
If it's somebody's dream to have a plane, and they end up getting one, more power to them. But then there's someone else is saying, why have a plane when there's a bunch of planes out there? I just got to hop on one and go to where I need to go.
Right.
you know,
Exactly. Yeah.
uh,
But then who knows that? Who knows
right?
what it is? Who knows if it's going to be, someone's dream, or if it's some other reason that they just like, okay, I want a plane, and okay, you have that opportunity. If you can tell someone to, I mean, maybe they want to invest it, or maybe they want to just spend it all. But like,
Hmm.
you can suggest stuff to people, but everyone's gonna want to do what they're gonna want to do anyway. And
Right.
that's kind of an ego killer too. That like, oh, maybe they're gonna listen to me, but everyone's gonna do what they want to do. So you can't be upset if someone makes a decision that isn't whatever the decision you want something to be is, and it's
Right.
okay.
And yeah, it's definitely okay. And I think that's the whole point that we're trying to lean towards today is everybody has their own view of things. Um, and everybody should have their own view of things. You know, However, we don't want to get caught up in somebody else's dream or vision and overlook our own. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Which is easy to,
Yeah.
uh, and then you're like, oh, why am I doing this?
Mhm.
Why did I go to college?
Mhm.
Um, something like that. Like, who was that? Like, I don't know why I didn't like school. I don't know why I went to college. That was a bad decision. But and
you
you
know?
got, get a little older, and you're like, okay, well, I can do what I want, and I should be doing what I want. And some people are gonna think, okay, that's weird, but it's cool for me, man. It's not a plane. It's
Mhm.
maybe one day, but then I look at the prices of planes, and and then also how much flying lessons are.
Oh my.
Um, yeah, but then I wouldn't want to be the jerk that has a plane. I don't want to be like, oh yeah, I have a plane. And then, but then I also worry about it. Like, would someone? Because then you get the worrying about jealousy also of one thing is someone gonna want that? Is someone gonna want it so bad they're gonna come and take it? And
Mm.
for whatever it is, if it's success, if it's some if it's a plane, if it's some famous art piece that you have hanging up in your house that
Mhm.
you made a YouTube video about doing house tours, like, oh, here's my priceless thing right past here. Don't worry, there's and then but then it's the same people who will, anytime they go somewhere on vacation, like post that they're on vacation,
Mhm.
which my parents always made a thing for me. They always would say, like, if you go out on a trip or something, don't let people know, because it's basically also a thing saying, "Hey, I'm gone. If you really want to come rob me, now's the
Wow.
time." Um, and
Wow. That's interesting. And probably a lot of truth to that, which is kind of sad. But that type of stuff goes on, and jealousy is usually behind that. People who know you or are aware of who you are, they might think that the things that you obtain are nice, and then if they find out you're not nowhere near where your items are,
right,
perfect opportunity, which is kind of messed up, but that thing goes down. Wow.
yeah. I mean, yeah, I've had some people. I went on a trip one time. I had someone steal something, and yeah, I mean it was like someone that I was letting in my house.
Hmm.
Yeah, stole something, but because it was awesome. It was something that was awesome. I won't get into what it is for some sort of issues of whatever I should or should not say on here. But this was like 20, 25 years ago when I was
Mhm.
when I was a young whippersnapper,
Uh,
and but one of those things. Again, it's just in the end, it's stuff. And if someone like I didn't make him happy that he got what I had in my room,
Hmm.
maybe I hope it did. I hope it gave him something. I mean, looking back at it now, but I mean, then I was upset. But what are you gonna do? Like,
Yeah, I mean, when you work hard for something or you purchase something out of your own efforts, and then someone takes it from you for whatever reason, they think they should have it, or they they, they think they deserve it more than you. It kind of makes you feel a certain kind of way, but once they take it from you because of how they got it, they really don't want it. They don't appreciate it like they would if they went the distance to earn it themselves. Um, Plus, they might feel guilty, or they might not, about taking it from you, and they know you and they're connected to you one way or the other. So it's that dirt up under the rug type of deal that they, you know what I mean.
yeah,
Every time they see you, they're thinking about, I did take that from him, but he doesn't know. But uh, too late to bring it back now. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. Like,
Don't.
okay, well, yeah. I mean, you get that, and then that's all. That's all there is. And
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know what happened to the guy. Couldn't tell you what happened to the guy afterwards, but
Well, he probably disappeared just like your item disappeared. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
right.
And what's crazy about that is he probably doesn't even have that item anymore.
Oh no, it's long gone.
Yeah.
It was gone. Mostly by the time I got back.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And yeah, I was like, oh, okay, well, thank you for that. But I don't know. Yeah, because I mean, again, it's just when it boils down, or what it boils down to, again, is jealousy. And I mean,
Hmm.
I didn't have a lot of stuff. That was one thing I had, but yeah, um, it's just I don't know. But I'm also, but yeah, I mean, you don't know. You don't know, like, if someone has a lot of stuff and then, like, they make videos about it.
Hmm.
And all that. I mean, you don't know what they did for that stuff. You don't know if maybe that stuff isn't even theirs. Maybe it's
Uh-huh.
not their house.
Exactly.
Uh, you don't know.
So they're feeding into that jealousy emotion. You know what I mean?
Right.
So the next one here, uh, why people might be jealous is it really doesn't have anything to, I guess, for you at all. Is, for instance, you just might be genuinely a good person, and people just love you, and people get jealous of that for some reason. You got any examples on that, or any way you want to look at that?
Um, I think again, you're gonna get the people who are jealous are finding ways to be like, oh, there has to be something. There has to be something about them that's bad, rather
Mhm.
than again just finding out what it is they're doing. Like, if they seem to be happy about it, it's probably like, I mean, they're putting a lot of good into the world, whether
Mhm.
it's they're real about it and kind of true about it, or if it's I mean, maybe they're just doing it all for social media clout and
Mm.
you know, doing something good as long as someone's watching.
Mm.
There's that, but then, but even then, like, that's not that bad of a thing. Like, in a way, it's kind of lying and stuff, but doing something, you're still doing something good, but you're doing it in kind of a backwards way for some sort of credit and pat on the back for yourself, but
Mhm.
you're still doing something good. And yeah, it's kind of a weird gray area. And but I think that yeah, people can just want to not. Yeah, people can always find a way to criticize someone, no
Mhm,
matter who it is, and
mhm.
uh,
And usually jealousy is behind it, right?
right, yeah, and rather than like, oh, okay, what are they doing? Like, forget them. Like
Mhm,
they're probably had to do something or know somebody, or
mhm,
rather than just being like, okay, it's just a good person. Like it's okay. There are good people. There's good people in the world, and
mhm.
I believe that.
Yeah, I believe it too. And then it's interesting that you made the statement that they're looking for something because they just can't believe that there are good people out there, or because of how their jealousy works, they're just concentrating and focusing on finding something wrong with these people so that they can blast it out or confront them or just present it to everyone else just to make them look bad. That's kind of messed up. I would hope that people would want to make people look good. you know
Right.
uh,
And
hope.
yeah, why not? Why not make someone look good? Like,
Mhm,
what is it? It's not going to hurt you. Like, uh, so one thing. So back to relationships. If there's ever let's say uh, your girlfriend has some other guy that she likes, you go in and talking all kinds of crap about that guy, that's not going to help. Like,
no.
just be like, yo, yeah, he's a cool guy. Like, he's all right. Like, like, don't be like, that doesn't get you. Like, I don't think there are too many examples if of that has ever worked well to be
Mm,
able to get someone by putting some other person down to try
mhm.
to look cooler, because it never works. And
No, no, it
it's not
doesn't.
like, and I don't know why that is kind of pushed as the thing to do, is like, oh, okay, like there can't be two cool people. It's like you're both trying to y- you know be the only cool person there is, but like,
Mhm,
yeah, that person can be cool too. Like, you you know your girlfriend or whatever it is, I mean, they picked you, so like, don't their judgment probably isn't too bad. Like, this person, if you
mhm,
think that they're like a this other person's a jerk or whatever,
mhm.
I mean, maybe what are you seeing in yourself? If you're calling this person a jerk, what is it about that? Why is it a big deal that this person's that way?
Right, right.
But who wants to look inward?
That's an interesting point as well. You got some interesting points today. I like it.
Right.
But yeah, it also has to do with confidence. When person's not confident in themselves, instead of raising the bar for how they feel for themselves, their main uh, focus is to bring other people down in whatever way that they can. And like you said, that's a no-win situation when you're trying to do that. To make somebody else look bad when somebody thinks that they're cool. Like you said, they chose you, so
Yeah.
obviously their judgment is pretty decent, or you would think, right?
Yeah.
so I'm gonna switch it up a little bit,
Okay.
and we're gonna look at how to tell if there's a jealous person around you. Um, so the first way is people try to make you feel insecure with compliments uh, that are kind of false, um, like false praises or whatever. You
What do
know,
you mean by that?
when you do something, or you, like, say for instance something just as simple as you bought a new shirt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's a nice shirt and it looks nice on you, and then somebody's like, it's okay. You know what I mean? I don't like the color. Uh, Maybe if it was blue. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People do that type. So that's what I mean. So what you got for that, man?
Uh, I mean, again, like, what is it gonna go? And unless it's some sort of thing you have with your friends that you're always, just uh, whatever, kind of
Mhm.
giving everyone crap for whatever they have.
Mhm.
That's one thing. But again, if you're trying to do that to be like, oh yeah, that's a dumb color. I would have chose. Okay, well, thanks, Mr. Fashion Advisor. Like,
Right?
good for you. You're better at fashion than I am. Like, you can go out and buy whatever you want. But then, if it was me, I probably would have thrown something back and said something. But that's not going to go and push anything anywhere. But
Mhm.
it's I well, like, I don't know. I don't understand the reason for it to just
I don't think I understand the reason for it either, but things like this happen every day. With I'm not gonna say everybody, but at least a couple people out there.
yeah,
Only two maybe.
maybe
Uh,
3.
Definitely undershooting that one, but but it's just how people have come to look at things and view things and talk about things in a negative manner to either be I don't think they even realize the jealousy behind it sometimes, but that's just kind of how people do.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't think so either. I don't think people understand that it's a jealous thing, and
mhm,
but then I guess there's also not a lot of looking inward. We're so taught in this society not to look inward,
mhm, mhm.
which is probably. I mean, if you look inward, it's a lot easier to figure out a lot of stuff. Like if you look in why I'm doing it as opposed to why someone else is doing that or reacting that way
Mhm.
about it. Like it's, I don't know. It doesn't make much sense to get upset about something. But then if someone says something to me also that, oh yeah, man, your shirt, yeah, I would have got, a different color. I I don't know. Like you can just sit there and just say, "Oh, okay," but maybe as someone who wants to get a reaction out of you, also, and
Mhm.
that's also kind of can be a jealousy thing, and it's just that's their whole purpose. But
Yeah,
then
yeah, to
why?
trigger you and get you upset or, get you
Yeah,
emotionally off balance. Yeah, that's a strong point, and that actually goes on too. Man, you're really bringing out some stuff that I didn't have here, which is great. But you're also highlighting a bunch of stuff that I already got. So I'm kind of skipping around because you're touching on things that comes up later. So
it's my brain.
yeah, we're working perfectly on this. Uh, the next type of person that you can identify as a jealous person it's type of a copycat person. They copy everything you do. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um, and it can be anything. You know what I'm saying? And I've seen extremes too. I've seen one person like be fortunate enough to get a house, and then next thing you know, somebody that they knows ends up going to get a house, and I think that's good. When those type of things happen, and it makes you get more in your life, like another asset. You know what I
yeah,
mean? I think that's great. It inspires somebody else to go for it and get something that they probably wouldn't have did if you didn't do it. You know what I mean?
right.
Uh, so I think that's great. But then there's also other things that can happen that it's just weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
what you got?
the keeping up with the Joneses,
Hmm.
whatever they have, I gotta have too, and
Uh-huh.
yeah, I mean, I grew up in an area where that was very, very strong, and
Mhm.
it's it's odd, and it like I didn't really think about it as much when I was younger, but then like looking back, there's so much of just like, yeah, if you what is it gonna get you, or even with something like video games or
Mhm.
iPhone.
Mhm.
Always having to have the newest one, and if you don't have it, you're not part of the group, part of the where everyone is like, yeah, and it's, I mean, it's just amazing marketing is what it boils down to.
Uh-huh.
And it's but there's in every little aspect of our life is that it's I mean, one of the best sales strategies is to make it, if you don't have it, you're not part of the group. And
Wow.
being exiled from a group for something you can afford or don't
Mhm.
want to put money into
Mhm.
is, should say something about what your situation is. Or the I see that there's people now that won't, back to the iPhone, that
Mhm.
won't like date or talk to people that don't have iPhones, like when they
Wow.
see the green text, like, oh yeah, they're poor, or like something to that effect. And
Yeah. That's crazy because that sparked some the thought in my head that's actually true, man. And I'm glad you brought that up too, because people do that, you know, and it's,
right,
it's it's the weirdest thing to not even talk to someone because they're not. I guess they don't have something that you have. I mean, I guess that's a bit extreme as far as I'm concerned.
yeah, I hope so.
But I mean, there are a group of people out there who their focus is to be in a certain status, I guess. And if you're not at that level or higher, then they don't really want nothing to do with you, which is, I guess in some aspects I get it, in other aspects I don't. But to to not talk to somebody because they don't have a specific phone that you have, or they're not up to date on that particular deal of technology,
Right,
uh, that's a little weird. It's a little extreme.
a little bit.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, but yeah, like you were saying also with the house, like it could be a good thing if someone buys a house and
Mhm.
then it gets you to want to buy a house too. And yeah, again, you're getting an asset as opposed to going and, buying that car that as soon as you, especially if it's brand new, you drive it off the lot, you're losing
Yeah.
money right away.
Yep. Exactly. Uh-huh.
Like it would be like, oh, okay, I didn't know that. I didn't know that it'd be a good idea to buy a house instead of a
Hmm.
car. They both cost or maybe not quite the same, but
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, why not? Why not just hopefully, yeah, hopefully people can take it one way, but then not everyone's going to take it the same way, and you never know how someone's going to take something. And
Right.
but then however someone takes it, it's kind of on them how they're going to take
Exactly.
it. And hopefully I hope the best for however they're going to take it, but
Hmm.
there's not really a good way to uh I don't know, because yeah, I'm it's really hard now with there not being, and I talk about this a lot too, with there not really being a gray area, or agree to disagree has seemed to be gone.
Mm.
Um, and I think that's a hard one. I think that's one of the hardest things that's come in the last maybe 15, 20 years,
Hmm.
that just agreeing to disagree is something that it was fine. And like there would be, and that's why this show is great. You can have like discussions about stuff. It's not just here's my line in the sand. I'm right, you're wrong,
Right.
which is so often the case for so many different things.
Hmm.
And just not even wanting to talk about it, like is dumb. Like, I mean, there's no, like with the echo chamber, like you can say, oh, I'm around a bunch of people that are like-minded for whatever thing it is you're like-minded about,
Hmm.
but I don't want to hear anything else. what if someone somewhere else, even somewhere on this spectrum from quote unquote right to quote unquote wrong, somewhere in
Mhm,
there, had a good
mhm.
point that like you would have never have learned that, and
Right.
it's it's sad. Like you can't grow without conversation. You can say you're so great because you're so right about whatever, but there's no room to grow. You're
Right.
telling yourself already that I'm perfect
Mm,
in this set of ideas, and you're not going to tell me I'm wrong until down the line when someone probably does tell
yeah.
them they're wrong, but
And will
who
they believe
knows?
them? No.
Right? Yeah, right. That's a good point. Will they believe them? Like I don't
Yeah.
know.
So the next one here we have people who are jealous usually try to make their success more. Um, they try to give it more merit than what it really deserves. So, for instance, let's say at the office, someone gets Employee of the Month, you know, and then you hear somebody say, "Well, I was Employee of the Month 2 months ago." You know what I mean?
Right.
Uh, or
Yeah.
they try to make it more than what it is because they're not the current Employee of the Month. Some people you just can't please.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know
you
what I mean?
ask them why aren't you employee of the month this month?
Right.
Or you
And
know,
that'll start a nice little reaction, right?
right. And or ask the person like why are they telling you the third party and not going up to the person who is the employee of the month, or going to the manager and saying why is someone else the employee of the month? What am I not doing, or what are they
Yeah.
doing that is
Mhm,
passing me by?
mhm.
Um,
Or
and
or why
trying,
not?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Or why not just congratulate them? You know
that
what I
too.
mean? You know, say,
Wh-
hey, congratulations on being the current Employee of the Month. I know how that feels. I've been there and done that, but yeah, enjoy this month. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and why not? Why not congratulate someone with it? I mean,
Yeah.
it seems so obvious, but it even flew right over my head to even go there to just be like, oh yeah,
Uh-huh.
good job, like good
Right.
job
Right.
of being the employee of the month. Or you see yeah, you see someone that gets some sort of any advancement, like it's okay to go out like and reach out to them and let them know like, hey, good job, man. Like I'm watching. I see what you're doing. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
it's okay. And not like, oh god, what this person do? Like why are they
Mhm.
getting this?
And then you hear people saying, "Well, I did this and I did that and I did this and I did that." They only did this. Why am I not the Employee of
Right.
the Month?
Yeah. I've been working on this for 20 years and they've been around 3 months, and then they got the new promotion or whatever. And
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
okay, good. Look at them. Like that's something, like if they did that, like they're doing something right. See what they're doing.
Right.
Go and see what's what.
And I
Be
think
happy.
yeah, great. And I think the biggest thing that you said thus far, out of the many things that you said that were great, uh, was when you said, ask them how they did it. You know, Instead of being jealous or trying to put them down or make yourself be more than what you are, just say, hey, I've never been Employee of the Month. What'd you do? you know
Yeah.
Maybe I can get there next month or down the line. You know what I'm saying? What's so bad about that? What's so hard about that?
Right. And I mean, whether that person is the employee of the month tells them the truth about it, or, keep some stuff to themselves if they really are trying to hold on to the employee of the month. But like,
Hmm.
wouldn't more friendly competition be better for everyone?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like that's, you don't want to put a cap on like what you can do. Like I've like, so like, I don't know. So with going to AI, I'm going to go off on a little tangent here. Um, there's so much that I do that AI is gonna be better at than me, and um, but there's people. So like for drawing or something or painting,
Hmm.
it gives a good leg up for people who are terrible at it, who can go, can't draw or paint and can sort of have a better chance. But then the people who I think that were doing art before can take what, I've been able to do and, add to it, like as someone who's not very good conventionally at art, and be
Hmm.
able to add to it with their comprehension of whatever whatever art stuff. Or same with music, the music part, like and it's hard too, because i I can spend weeks making a track. I can spend so long, but then I can also now go and pop something on, and 30 seconds later have a track that's probably all right. Or jokes,
Hmm.
I can tell it to give me 10 new punchlines, and one or two of them are probably better than what I had before. And but I think it's all about like being able to give like keep raising that bar, instead of having
Hmm.
that bar be where you are at the top and then just sort of stopping there, and don't let anyone, they're coming for my spot. I don't like, I want to guard this with everything I have. And
Hmm.
it, yeah,
And what people don't realize, even if they are that person at that spot right now, eventually somebody's gonna take that spot,
yep,
uh, and maybe even take it up higher, uh, so that the next person will have more of a challenge. So
hopefully.
yeah. And that's great. Like you said, it's good competitive uh, strengths, I guess, that makes us better at what we do all the time, because someone has an ability to go beyond where the person who had the record before goes. um, that's all great, because it lets us know as human beings that we are not limited.
Right.
Just because somebody ran this distance at this speed at that time, it was a world record. But next time we have a track meet, somebody goes beyond that.
Right.
So it's all about how hard we try, how hard we focus, and how great our performance is at that time. Can you do that every time? No. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're gonna come in third. You're gonna come in fourth. Sometimes you're gonna tank and come in last. But if you keep trying and working on your what is it, your the way that you run, um, um, and then when you're gonna have that day where everything goes great, and then next thing you know, you got the record. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
And
So yeah.
um and hopefully you're happy with yourself for doing it.
Uh,
Uh,
yeah, I would hope so.
yeah.
You're like, doggone it, I got the world record.
Yeah, I got
Shame
that.
on me. Shame
Yeah.
on me.
Uh, well, then, and then maybe it'll change how people do it, or maybe it won't. Like if they're the guy who I I'm pretty sure he still holds it. The guy who holds the best free throw percentage in basketball
Mhm.
used to, or all his shots were granny shots, or what, I'm not sure what the underhand shots, but
Uh-huh.
nobody's doing that in professional basketball. But that's the person who holds the record for the highest percentage of doing
Yeah,
that. And
yeah.
I
It's
always
that
kind of wonder why people didn't do it, besides looking funny.
it's that form, and people, like you said, it may looks funny, but it's very effective. But everybody now, they're trying to be all pretty when they shoot the shot,
Right.
and that ends up being a less percentage because it may
Yeah.
look pretty, but it's not as effective.
Right. Which is, something that I hope that, yeah, more people, when they are able to surpass someone doing something, they can, yeah, take something from what they're doing, at least some part of what they're doing, to be
Mhm.
able to better themselves. Because back to the collaboration, it's a collaboration without collaborating with the person intentionally. But taking what they're doing and adding something to it that they would have never have thought of, you know, is it's important. It's important to evolve, and once you stop evolving, then it's just you got the bar. There's the bar.
There
The
it
bar's
is.
not moving.
Yep. And great point. Great point. And the next thing that jealous people do is this is kind of funny to me, but it's also true and ridiculous. But they deliberately give you bad advice. So you got an example for that? I got plenty of examples for this, but do you have an example for that?
I want to hear some of yours here. I got to hear this.
You know, a lot of people start the sentence with what I would do is, if I were you, I would do this. Usually when I hear that, my alerts go up, you know, because they're not you and they're not in your situation. And this can go in just about any example that you can think of. But I'll use the example of maybe you're in a situation and you got some friends and you're telling them about it, and it involves your significant other. And you just kind of want to vent and get it off your chest. You know, well, this is the situation. This is what happened. This is what they did. This is what I am thinking about doing. And instead of them hearing you out, they kind of cut you off and say, well, what I would do if I was in that situation. And clearly, it's not going to be good advice because they probably are wanting your significant other for themselves.
That's a good point. That's a real good point. Because, I mean, hopefully you can sniff it out while it's happening. But,
right.
But then
sometimes you can't, you know.
Maybe not. But I mean, what's it gonna do for whoever was the one who said you should do this? Like, if they end up getting with that significant other, you know, what's gonna happen in that relationship? That relationship is a good short-term idea, but you're not playing the long-term game at all. It's gonna be
short-lived, no doubt.
Over. And there's a lot of things like that where it's like it's great for the short term, but like what's that gonna really get you? And then sort of going back to if you're taking something, like it's good for the moment, but like maybe afterwards you're like, oh shoot, I shouldn't have done that. Or like, what, do I feel better? Is my life better than I thought it was going to be? No, not really.
No, it's actually going to be the opposite. You know, it's going to be less than what you thought. I mean, for a long time, I wanted a certain kind of car, and I was actually going to go get one of those one day. And then I got behind the wheel and looked inside, and it felt uncomfortable. You know, I didn't like the way it rode. You know what I mean? Once I actually, you know, it looked good, you know, from the outside, but when I got on the inside and had that experience, I'm like, you know what? This is really not exactly what I thought it was going to be. It's something totally different. So I think that may be a good explanation of what you're talking about. You know, when people finally get these things or have the opportunity to get these things one way or the other, whether it's the right way or the wrong way, then they realize, you know what? I thought it would be different. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
so you go ahead.
I was going to say, so what happened with that car? Did you end up going to get a different car?
Yeah. I actually, absolutely. Once I got out of it, I was, you know, there was no more convincing me that I needed that type of car. It was just obvious that it wasn't something that I'd be comfortable in, you know. I want something that rides smooth and, you know, takes the corners really, you know, easy. and it's not tight. You can just, you can adjust it. Just it has to be the right fit.
Yeah.
Um, and whether it goes fast or takes off 0 to 60 in a certain so many seconds, that's not nothing that impresses me. If I put my foot on the gas, I want to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if it takes off to that magnitude, it's really nothing that uh, impresses me. I just want to get from point A to point B.
Yeah. And be comfortable.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I like to cruise. I don't like to speed around everybody. To me, that causes trouble and gets you in trouble.
Yep, it sure does. And it might take a while to figure that one out. It took me a little while to figure that one out, but as long as you're not cruising in the car that's the comfortable one. What or once you get speeding around in the car that's the comfortable one, then it's a little different. Then they start looking at you kind of funny. But
Right? Oh man. So another one I have here is the people who are jealous. They spread gossip or lies about you. Um, a lot of times, we hear things and we're like, well, if it's me, for instance, I'm like, where did you get that? you know, I'm like,
yeah,
who is your source? Because something like that, if you didn't hear from me, then you might not want to pay attention to it. You know?
right. And I mean, you never know what the reason is for someone going and
Mhm.
starting to spread whatever it is. Again, yeah, maybe it's trying to look cooler, but nobody in the history of anything has ever looked cooler for
Right?
spreading bad something about someone else. It has
Mhm.
never happened, and I don't think it ever will. It may somehow one day, but it's never worked. But it's one of those things people will just keep trying rather than. And
Mhm.
it's a lot of energy, a lot of stupid energy spent to do it when you could be doing anything else. Um,
Absolutely.
it got
Absolutely.
yeah. I mean, like during oh man, yeah. Once 2020 hit, like I like unfollowed everything on social media. Like there was
Mhm.
so much just like this is all people are doing all day, every day. And but I mean, then I went and put my energy out to doing my own thing, like,
Mhm.
and just stayed away from all that because it's not like, yeah, everyone's gonna have their opinion on whatever, wherever it is on there. But it was so many people with their opinions aren't gonna change for any sort of conversation. Back to that, like it's just like here it is. Here's what it is. I'm right. You're like, "Pff, yeah, your stuff's stupid." And where's that gonna where's that gonna bring anybody, and where's that gonna bring yourself at the end of the day? Just scrolling through that, and I mean, your brain takes in everything. I
Mhm.
mean, like even watching shows that are bad, like with people that do bad stuff.
Mhm.
Like our brain doesn't understand the difference between that, and it takes it in as fact. Like
Mm.
I like watching like it's always sunny in Philadelphia or Seinfeld or something like that, where
Mhm.
their characters are terrible people, do terrible stuff, but our brain doesn't understand
Mhm.
that it's the part that they're making fun of people doing terrible stuff, and it's not all our brain takes in is this is how people act, and
Mhm.
it's a hard thing to do, and just trying to so like if you're seeing people that are you know whatever online saying whatever they're saying, scrolling through that
Mhm.
all the time, you're taking that in at a
Mhm.
subconscious level, and it's
Mhm.
just sticking in your head, and you're gonna probably end up start being like, oh, this is just how people talk and interact, and this is not knowing why you're doing that.
Kinda you are what you eat type of deal. right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's I mean real easy to just it's a lot easier said than done, but to just
Mhm.
get out of it
Uh-huh.
and just take a step back is something also that doesn't seems so foreign, but is pretty easy to do, to just
Mhm.
take a step back and look at everything at from a different, from an outside perspective, as
Mhm.
being so instead of just being so immersed in it and just totally right in the middle of everything. And
Mhm.
um yeah, I mean, it's okay to take a step back and just be like, this is I don't what's this gonna do for me? Where's this gonna put me, as like
Mhm.
me me watching someone talking crap about someone, and either A, feeding into it,
Mhm.
which is probably the worst thing to do, and
Right.
jumping in on it, because then that just means that they're getting this short burst of pat on your back,
Mhm.
which, man, that goes a long way in the social media world. That quick little pat on the back,
Mhm.
and people are always chasing for that little short little pat on the back of something, and finding ways that are negative like that to get it.
Wow. That's a strong point, and I'm glad you brought that out because people need to hear that because there's people out there, maybe a couple, not
Maybe a
everybody,
couple, yeah.
that are that's what they do, you know. So the next type of person who you can recognize as jealousy or jealous uh, is the person that criticizes you all the time. All they do is criticize everything you do. Nothing's good enough, or they try to shoot your ideas down. Um, what are your thoughts on that?
Again, what's in it for them to shoot down your idea, and what's in it for them? Why aren't they focusing on themselves? Is that something that's possibly from childhood of
Mm,
them, you know, finding out that they have the need to fix people, and
hmm
maybe it's something, you know, unconscious that they're doing, that they want to fix people, and that's their way of doing it, when it turns out like is doing the exact opposite of that. And yeah, it turns into it's they're criticizing, and it's not like, yeah, not trying to help them out or help yourself out. It's, yeah, just a
hmm
way to um yeah, just again, maybe try to make yourself feel better. But
hmm
again, it's one of those, they'll make you feel better for a minute, but that's not lasting. That's not
Right,
lasting at all.
right. And then you have the type of people who celebrate your failures or they try to ruin your plans. Um, those type of people to me are the worst. Uh, you don't really need them in your circle because you can have a great idea, or it could be something as simple as planning for a trip. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you just mention it to your people that are around you in your circle because you're excited. You want to go. You're ready to take off and go explore, do some fun stuff that's just not your normal everyday stuff. Get out of your zone for a minute. So you can appreciate life a lot more. And then they try to, I don't know, just ruin your plans. So for instance, let's just say Hawaii. Hey, I'm planning on going to Hawaii. Well, it's so expensive there. You know,
Yeah.
well, yeah, it's expensive everywhere, but I got a little something I've been putting aside, and I want to go to Hawaii. I want to see what it's like for myself. I don't want to hear about everybody else been there in their experience. I don't want to see the pictures and videos. I want to see it for myself.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
For one, go. But uh
Right.
just go, man. If you have a place to go, or a time to go to a tropical place, just
Mhm,
stop and go do that, no matter
mhm,
where. If someone says that, but like, again, like it is someone who goes on trips kind of often, and they say that, oh, Hawaii is so expensive, are it's probably people who are not going on trips and wish they were going on trips. Are going to be the ones that are going to say, oh, that's so expensive, what a waste of money.
Mhm.
But and that sucks, like, and it would be another thing to be like, man, I just to say, oh, that's cool, I wish I could do that. Like,
Mhm.
again, how did you do it? How are
Right,
you?
right.
What are you doing? Like, we're both doing the same job. We have the exact same bills. We live in the exact same house.
Mhm.
We do everything the same. But you're going to Hawaii, and I'm not. Like, what are you doing that's different? And
Mhm.
why not go for that, man? Like, yeah, you should get out there, go to Hawaii, go do some body surfing. Uh, you know?
Right, for real. And that's an excellent point, man. And I think that should be people's view in how they do things. Instead of being the having a jealous view and a jealous way to attack people, they should be more on the path of how did you do this, or what did you do? Is there anything different I can do so that I can do that too, or this is what I'm trying to do. Do you have any advice that will help me get to here? What are your
Right.
thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, and they can take it or not. Like,
Mhm.
so, man, okay. So I don't like doing this. I do it very, very not often. Is the stop smoking hypnosis, but
Mhm.
just because one, a lot of people don't want to stop smoking, and there's no reason to feel bad about smoking because
Mhm.
most of it someone else wants you to stop smoking, whatever.
Mhm.
But if you tell someone, yeah, man, like, how much do you spend in a year on cigarettes? Like, oh, okay, well, let's see if it's probably not this anymore, but five packs a day, or not 5 packs a day, five
Uh-huh.
dollars a day for a pack,
Mhm.
365 days a year. How much is that? Oh, that's like, you know, almost a couple $1,000 probably, somewhere in there,
Uh-huh.
1,500, 2,000, I
Mhm.
don't know.
Right.
Uh but so if you didn't smoke for a year, you put all that money aside, you could have enough money to go to Hawaii and, like, you do it. There you go. There's the answer. Oh no, I can't stop smoking. Or like, okay, then fine. Then like there's something you can do. But like, do you really want to go to Hawaii? Like, do you want to enough where like not smoking a cigarette for a year is more important than that? Or if smoking getting to smoke a cigarette, 20 cigarettes a day,
Uh,
every day for a year is more pleasurable for you than going to Hawaii for a few days.
mhm.
Sure, that's fine, but that's something that you have to accept
Yep.
and
Yep.
be okay with it. And it's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with smoking a pack of cigarettes a day, just as long as you can't, as long as like if that's like one option,
Mhm.
like that's, that could put you to do something else you don't do. And I don't know. It's one of those things. What are you gonna do? What's someone gonna say? Like if that's the case, like I don't
Mhm.
know. Like is it more is it more important? I don't know, man. Like I want to smoke cigarettes. Okay, then smoke cigarettes. Find out another way to save
Yeah.
a couple
Right.
$1,000. But there's a way I can tell you. There's one. I got more ideas.
Absolutely.
I'm an idea guy. I'm not best at everything else, but I'm a pretty good idea guy. I can get you that going.
Absolutely, man. It takes some type of sacrifice to do those things, even if it's just once a year, or once every other year. You have to look at, especially if you're working at the same place as the other person,
Right.
or you're living at in the same type of house, like you said. They're obviously saving somewhere where you're spending somewhere. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So to ask them, hey, what are you doing to make these exotic trips? that's not a hard thing to do. It's an easy thing to do actually, and that person will probably be more than willing to share that information. But if you just get jealous about it and start, hating on them, you know, that's gonna never happen for you. Basically, if you're smoking it all the way.
Yeah, yeah. Or you don't know if this person didn't go out to dinner for the last year and only ate peanut butter sandwiches every day for the last year for two
Right.
meals of the day, and
Hmm.
who knows? Who knows what they did? And it's okay. Like they got to what they wanted to get to,
Hmm.
and good for them. Good for them. And
Absolutely.
then this hard to leave it there for some people.
Hmm.
Just like good for them. Why good for them? Why not good for me too? What did you
Absolutely.
do? What did you do? Why is it good for you too? Like it's good for them. They did it. Like
Hmm.
give them their moment in the sun. Like it's okay to not be the center of attention for everything. Not everything has to come back to you. Uh,
True. True.
so wait, hold on. Let's talk about me for a second. No, just kidding. Sorry.
Oh man, that's funny.
Uh,
Check this out. We're about halfway through where I wanted to go today. How much time you got?
whatever. I'm
Okay.
going to the swimming pool after this, so I'm not. I'm not on a time frame.
Okay, great. So if you would like to, I can extend this into a double episode, and we can keep going. It's up to you.
Um, yeah, yeah. I don't know, man. Let's call it good. Well, I'll come back and do another one. But now that I got the pool in my head, I'm
Hey man,
kind of thinking about that.
actually, when you mentioned pool, that kind of changed my idea too.
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea at all.
No,
Uh,
man, my body's hurting. I'm like, I can sit here for a little while longer. I want to come back and do another episode if that's okay with
hey,
you. But
so hey
I
man, that's
feel
all
like
good with me.
moving around would be good for me to be able to
Sweet.
keep myself loose.
So if you don't mind, heck, we can come back and pick up where we left off and call this part one. How's
Sure,
that?
you got
Hey
it.
man, hope you had a good time today.
Great time.
Uh,
Made my job easy.
good man. So once again, thanks to everybody that tuned in. We're here with Rusty Diamond, and this will be considered part one of this episode, which we're talking about what makes people so jealous. I really like the way things went today. Appreciate you joining the show. Got any final thoughts, sir?
Um, man, where's my inner Jerry Springer here to to finish this up? Man, if I would have been like a year or two older, he was the mayor of my town before I was born, like a year or two before I was born.
Mhm.
Um, I always like that. But man, I don't know. Yeah, like don't be a hater. Being a hater is not going to get you anything. I guess is kind of what this episode sums up to be. And
Mhm.
no one's going to like you more by putting someone else down.
Mhm. Mhm.
And yeah, man, if anybody wants to find me, rustydiamond.net is kind of where you can find anything for me. So that's kind of the one-stop shop, man.
Sweet. Uh, Once again, thank you for joining me on the show today, and we look forward to setting that second show up, and I'm looking forward to it as well. Ladies and gentlemen, Rusty Diamond, and I'm your host of That's Life Evolution. Y'all take care and have a good night. We'll see you later and take off where we are now and finish it up. That's life.